Hey guys, I'm back with a new video update. And this is going to be on how to use the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor with Premiere Pro and how do banks work. Today I'll be using the original speed editor, not my customized speed editor, because I want this to be easy for anybody who doesn't want to swap keys around or do anything like that. Shuttle, jog, and scroll are examples of switching to banks. If you press shuttle, it lights up and it changes the jog wheel to shuttle. If you press jog, it lights up and it changes this to jog. And then if you press scroll, it lights up and changes this to scroll. It's doing that because it's essentially going into another layer. So the rest of the keyboard's the same, but the jog wheel layer is different. I'm going to start by resetting the application. So now I'm going to delete my settings and I'm going to start fresh. So I'm going to reset the application, factory default, and hit yes. First thing you're going to want to do, make sure this is checked, enable DaVinci Resolve control support. That makes it work. And switch applications, that you can change that on or off. I'm going to keep display message when changing banks on. It's just going to make this more obvious for you. And then change banks on hardware when changing here. Go ahead and keep that on. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to keep this all on unit 1. We're going to start on bank 1 and we're going to choose the application we want to map. Now you can do this with Lightroom, you can do this with any program, but we're going to use Premiere Pro today. And now if you start pressing keys, all these say none. Press action, long press is none. I started out when I tested this and I tried to map shuttle, jog, and scroll to different banks here, and it didn't work. Something about the way this side, these little keys are working, they don't switch the banks. So I'm going to do this on the cam 1, 2, and 3 buttons. Basically, we're going to make it so when we press cam 1, it switches to the first layer, cam 2 switches to the second layer, cam 3 switches to the third layer. And this will all make more sense in a minute. So we're going to start on bank 1, and I want the press action. I was testing this earlier, so I'm going to delete this. If you're on the keyboard, which is generally where I type stuff in, you want to go to this far right bank, DaVinci Resolve Control Surface Banks. Click on that, and it'll say Editor Keyboard Bank 1. Now, everybody's probably going to pick that. That's wrong. It's actually called the Speed Editor. So, Speed Editor Bank 1, Unit 1. So that's the press action for this key. And I'm going to make the second key the same. And then just change the name to bank 2. Click it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Select. And I'm going to change that to bank 3. So if you click that key, I don't know why it deleted that. Make sure you click on it, guys. Sometimes if you don't, it doesn't save it. So you just double check it. 1, 2, and 3. Great. That's in bank 1. Now, we want them all to do the same thing. So you can go copy control to all banks. So we're on this key and copy control to all banks. Then this key, copy control to all banks. And then this key, copy control to all banks. And what that means is on any bank, that action key has been copied. We're only dealing with bank 1, 2, and 3 today. So now I'm going to say on bank 1, which is the first layer, I want only this light on. So I want the LED on and I want the LED off for these two keys. Same thing with bank 2. I only want the light for that one on. And these two should be off. And then bank 3, that key should have LED on. And these two should be off. Go back to bank 1. So now, when I'm in Speed Editor and I hit cam 1, it says Speed Editor Unit 1 Bank 1. And then I click this Unit 1 Bank 2, and then I click this Unit 1 Bank 3. Each of these keys means I'm in a different layer. So we're going to go to Cam 1, which is layer 1 basically, and say the jog wheel is going to be shuttling. Now shuttling is like the JKL key. I'm going to go back to CommandPost, And on bank 1, I'm going to click this, and the action for left is going to be J. So you got to go to this keyboard here and hit J and then click. And then the right turn action for the jog wheel is L. And you click that. So now when I'm back here, the jog wheel should move forward and back. See, I didn't map the space bar, so sorry guys. Let's map the space bar really quick. So in bank 1, space bar is going to be space. You got to type this out. You can't press the key. And usually you scroll to the top and it's going to be the first selection. And then I want to copy that to all the banks, because if I'm in bank 2, I want the space bar to work. So I'm going to say copy control to all banks. Now I'll double check. Yep, it's space. So back to bank 1. So now the jog wheel, when I'm going forward and back, you see how it locked up, it stopped? I find with the jog wheel, and it's not the same with all the speed editors, because I actually have 3. One of them works fine and I don't have to reset it. But if I press the bank again, all of a sudden it starts working. Now it's working. So this is kind of a workaround to get the jog wheel to work. Just map 3 keys to your bank and see, I can press stop. Let's go back to CommandPost. And now I'm going to go to bank 2. Make sure I've clicked on the jog wheel. And I want this to jog, which is basically going left and right. So I'm going to select left action is going to be left. And then the right action is going to be right. Great. So now I'm on cam 2, and now it's scrolling. So it's sort of like I'm holding my left or my right key. And then click back on cam 1, which is layer 1 basically. It switches the jog wheel now to that J and L. So back, it's fast forwarding. So if this is too fast for you, which it is, it's really sensitive. I'll press spacebar. We'll go back into CommandPost. We're on bank 2. We need to be on bank 1, which is where the J and L keys were. And then change the jog wheel relative to fine control. And then the sensitivity, that's how sensitive it is to the turn of the jog wheel. So if it's too sensitive, just turn it down. This is very sensitive, so that's more, but we want it less, so maybe 15. Now I'm in layer 1, which is where the J and L button for the scroll wheel was. Now when I go left, now it's cool. Look, it's going way better. And then if I go forward, see, it's going nice and slow, and then speeding through, because it's, you know, as you move it faster, it's hitting L more than once, which if you do that on the keyboard, it starts going into fast forward motion. Now scroll is where I'll show you how to make a snippet, which is like a macro. So scroll is going to be in bank 3. Again, we're copying this, like shuttle, which is JKL, jog, which is left and right, and scroll, which is fast forward and rewind. So if you haven't mapped fast forward and rewind, there's a way to trick the program with snippets. So we're going to go left, edit snippet. So we're on the jog wheel. We're in bank 3. I'm going to go edit snippet. This is fast forward, by the way. You know what? I'm going to make a new one and call it fast forward 2. Actually, we're going to do rewind. So rewind version 2. Great. Now with snippets, you're going to have to do insert action. I already did this earlier, so I'm going to do it again. J, and then click. Sometimes it closes CommandPost. It's annoying. All right, so that's the first modifier, J, when I'm going backward. I'm going to press return, insert action, J. Click on this, return, insert action, J. Great, so it's rewind. Now it's already saved. You don't have to press save or anything. So now, if I say select, and I go into my snippets, which is this little thing here, and I look for rewind, It's this here, rewind v2 Lua code snippet. That's what it is. So you click on that and it adds rewind v2. Now we'll make fast forward version 2 right now. So we're going to go edit snippet, new, fast forward version 2. We're going to do exactly the same thing. Insert action. In this case, we're going to do L. So I'm going to hit L, click. Go here, press return, insert action. It remembers the last action, so I hit L, return, insert action, L. So now when you click down here, you're going to select the snippet. I'm in the snippet area here. This is like the custom stuff. And it's called Fast Forward V2. It's down here. So rewind V2 and fast forward V2. That just means I'm hitting J 3 times with a left action and L 3 times for the right action. So now, again, that's bank 3. So if you're on bank 1, click on bank 3. And now this should fast forward, and it is. It's looping because it's going so fast. But that's it. That's how you customize it. And I guess you could change the snippet to only hitting J twice or L twice, and it'll go a little bit slower. But this is great if you want a mode to fly through your footage. Now I want to remind you, if the jog wheel stops working, hit cam 1. That's going to reset it, and it should start working again. And that's the whole purpose of these banks. Cam 1, cam 2, cam 3. Those are different layers. And what's cool about layers is that you can not only do the jog wheel, but you can do the rest of the keys on the keyboard. In my new keyboard, which I'll show in a new video later on, I have this as JKL now. I used to have it up here. The trimming key is going to be J. So select, and I go to, we were in the snippets, so we're going to go to keyboard. I'm going to hit J, click, and this one is going to be K, click, then this one is going to be L. There we go, JKL, bank 1. So watch. Now, when I hit these 3 keys, which is really easy to hold for my left hand, it's going forward, pause, backward, pause, forward fast, backward fast. So I don't even really need the jog wheel since this thing is so good. And I keep my hand here all the time. So I actually do mark this as in and out. So let's go ahead and do that just so you can see what I'm doing once again. Select, that's going to be I. And then out, it's going to be O. Okay, now let's see what I just did here. So now I have J, pause, in, play, fast forward, pause, out. Not to be confused with layers, but long pressing keys is something I use all the time. So you can actually have layers and long press keys. And let me show you what I mean. The in and out key, I'm going to long press, and that's going to be clear in to out. I'm going to hit the in key on bank 1. Long press is going to be Option and I. Great. And then out is long press. It's Option and O. And you could just do it right here and press return. Long press, Option and O. So now, again, I'm on bank 1 here. If I want to clear the in, I hold this key. And if I want to clear the out, I hold that key. Now we're going to talk about using long press to change banks temporarily. So let's say I want to hold that lower cut key, the one down here. Let's say I want that to go to bank 2, but just temporarily. So for example, if I wanted razor on the cut key, I could press C. But when I long press that, let's say I want that to be bank 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to long press and go into bank 1, unit 1. If you don't see that, if this is blank, you go to bank, and I'll change it just by highlighting it and pressing return. So now that's fine, but you want to make sure in bank 2, my release action for bank 2 is going to be bank 1. I know this sounds complicated, but it makes a lot more sense if you play around with it. I'm in bank 1 right now. Razor tool. Turn that off. If I hold down that and let go, it's back in cam 1. So why would I do that? Well, I'll show you. Let's say I'm in bank 1 and right now I'm in JKL scroll mode. So that's the way we had just mapped the jog wheel. But let's say I want to go into that frame by frame mode, the jog instead of shuttle. Well, I hold the cut key and now it's temporarily in bank 2. And now it's going frame by frame. Let go, and it's now in JKL. Basically what you're saying is when you hold the cut key, you go into bank 2 temporarily. And when you're releasing it, you're telling bank 2 when it's released to go to bank 1. And you can have whatever key doing whatever you want. I actually move my trim in and trim out keys 1 down, and I customize this to J, K, and L. It's just a lot easier to see. So all these keys move down on my custom keyboard. And so the reason I do that is I actually map trim in to the Q and W keys, which are the ripple trim previous cut, ripple trim next cut. Imagine that these are custom keys here with different colors. Then, and this is trim in, trim out, and roll. Again, you pull the keycaps and move them down. You do it so that it's Q and W here, and roll I actually have is my trim mode. So that's what's kind of cool is, you know, you start moving keys around, make them do whatever you want. Let's say you actually wanted the cut key to be the smooth cut key, which in bank 1 right now is nothing. You can drag them and it'll swap them. So now this has no action. We're in bank 1. We're in the JKL mode. Pause. If I hold that key, it'll do exactly the same. Now we're in frame by frame. And as soon as I let go, we're back into JKL. And you can use whatever banks you want. I could have 5 banks and say, you know, when I hold this key down, it goes to bank 5. You know, and you can customize any key on bank 5. And you can even have it so you hold one key down, you go into another bank and you're holding another key down. There's unlimited possibilities here. I mean, each layer can do 2 things, a click and a long press. And then each bank can do a click and a long press. Anyway, I hope that made sense. Good luck editing, and my next video will be on how I map my custom keys for multicam. You'll see what my newest keyboard is and how I've laid that out. Good luck. Happy editing.